Each person carries with him an emotional baggage taken from his life experience, but if you behave in the market the same way you would behave in real life, you will most probably fail. Your success heavily depends on your ability to control two main emotions that drive people's actions in their life, and especially when it comes to trading. I'm talking about fear and greed. So the foundation here is that greed and fear are powerful emotions that affect our decisions in many aspects of our life. They clearly come into play when trading the different markets. We have the ability to control them by using our intellect and trading with our eyes open, and if we fail to do so, we will lose. Novice traders, for example, often think by mistake that trading is easy, just because they had a great trade or luckily ran into a string of profitable ones. It makes them feel great, as if they are so talented they are able to crack the market, which is obviously ridiculous considering the fact that they only saw their first chart 1 week ago. What typically happens then is that they arrogantly slow their learning pace, because why to bother while you're already making money? They think they know how to do it, and now they are busy thinking of even greater profits. They calculate how much money they will make by the end of the month, fantasizing of the freedom it will bring them and the new car they are going to buy. Then they will be tempted to take unreasonable risks and usually lose everything they earned and even more. Many of them will find out that they just ended their trading career much earlier than they expected. Among the ones who will survive in the game, many will carry on this trauma of their account being wiped out, and it will affect their future behavior. They will now have always certain amount of fear when they approach trading. Fear to lose everything again. This mindset is wrong as well, as it will cause them to be hesitant and miss trading opportunities. So that was one common example of how greed and fear impact traders' behavior and their performance. To better understand greed and fear and how to deal with them, we first need to know that there is a reason they exist, and to accept that as any other emotion in the nature, they have a primitive survival purpose. Fear, for example, is very essential in nature. Think of wolves who find a great juicy portion of meat in the forest, but then see a huge tiger protecting it, threatening them not to come any closer. The fear of getting eaten by the tiger would make them turn back and save their life. Greed, on the other hand, would get them killed. Now think about the same situation, but this time the tiger went for a few minutes to feed his babies. In this case, the wolves can't act out of fear. They have to be greedy. They will eat as much as they can before the tiger is back, and if possible, they will also take the rest of it with them. In this case, the greed saves their life. After all, they don't know when is the next time they are going to eat again, so they need to get their stomach full now. But we are not here to talk about animals. This was just to show you how natural these emotions are and where they come from. Now, the question that needed to be asked is whether those emotions actually serve us nowadays in our daily lives. The answer is rarely. It's not often that we face a survival situation where someone wants to kill us or we find fresh food after 3 days of intensive seeking. So usually we don't really need them, and what happens is that they make us behave irrationally. They fill our minds with feelings that do not serve us anymore, and sometimes it gets even worse. When they make us feel greed when if something we need to feel fear, and fear when we better feel greedy. But you must remember that when it comes to trading, you have to find a way to disconnect yourself and keep being rational. Otherwise, those emotions will destroy your account. Now that we know the source of fear and greed, let's see a common example of how they may impact traders. Then we'll talk about what you should do in order to avoid being influenced by these self-destructive emotions.